Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to create the Huntrix bracelet. This was created by Szophie. She just had her 8th birthday, so a big happy birthday to you, Szophie. I love your design. This is actually named after the K-pop group. Don't forget to tell her down below how much you love this bracelet. I think it is so cute, and it doesn't surprise me that she got the creative gene because her mom is actually 7284 Christy. For today, you will be needing to make an extension at the end. But you will need about 84 bands for one loom length. That breakdown includes 43 of the glow pink. That does include 15 of the extension bands. You will need 12 of the glow green, 12 of this purpley color, and 12 of the hot pink. You will need one C-clip, your hook, and I will show you guys the loom setup. To get started, you're going to need one rainbow loom set up in the normal staggered position. If you're just using the one loom like me, we will have to add an extension at the end. But if you want to avoid that, just connect another rainbow loom right in front of this one. And I'll tell you how far down the loom to go, and then you can avoid an extension altogether. So the first thing we're going to lay is going to be the border on the side, which is this glow pink. I'm pretty much doing that exact same color combo. So we're going to start by laying one loose one in the center, and that's going to be for closing it later. We're going to go to the left and the right, and then we're just going to lay the borders going straight. Starting with that first one that I just laid as number 1, we're going to be laying 11 of these straight ones. If you're going to avoid an extension and you're using 2 looms, you're going to lay 23 straight ones, and then we're going to bring it into the center at the end. And forgive me if I'm losing my voice a little bit. I'm feeling a little raspy today. So I've laid 11 straight ones. I brought it into the center at the end. You're going to go ahead and do that exact same thing on the left side. So get yours completed, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Once your border is complete, this is what it will look like. We're going to push that down, come back to the beginning, and we're now going to choose the hot pink that's on this one. For this part, we lay it as double bands, so make sure you have 2 of them. We're going to lay them going straight right on top of the border. We're going to lay that again, so I'm going to grab 2 more bands of that same color, and this time we're going to go diagonally into the middle. The next color we lay is going to be this purpley color here. I'm going to use a darker purple, but remember, it's still double bands, and we're going to lay that diagonal again. From there, we're going to go back to the first color, so I'm going back to my hot pink, grabbing 2 of those, and we're going to do it just like we did the first time, starting by going straight. And now we'll go diagonally into the center. And we're going to keep making this type of shape going down the loom back and forth. So I've laid my hot pink. Now I'm going to go back to my purple, like so. If you wanted to use 2 colors, like I'm using all purple for that part, but if you wanted to alternate 2 colors like I did here, you would just lay a different color right now instead of the same color as you did here. So that's up to you. But I'm going to go back to my hot pink, and we're going to continue on with the pattern. So you always lay it straight, and then you go into the center. And then you grab your alternating color, like so. So whether you are using 1 loom or 2 looms, we're going to be doing exactly the same thing. And because I told you to only lay 23 for the border for 2 looms, our looms are going to look identical at the end. So I will show you exactly what mine looks like once I get down there. So this is what it will look like at the end. We're not going to bring anything into the center. The last band you lay should be the straight one on the side here. So push it down a little bit specifically in the center, come back to the beginning, and we're going to choose our last color, which for me is going to be this glow green. We don't lay this part as double band, so just grab your 1 band, and we're going to be laying the same shape like we did the first time, except it's going to be basically like 1 row after it. You'll see what I mean. So starting here on the left, we're going to start by going diagonal to the right, and we're going to do that twice. And then from there, we're going to go straight. And now we're going to bring it back in towards the center twice. Every time you reach the outside, you always want to go straight again. And now we'll go the opposite direction, going back to the right 2 times. I hit the outside row, so remember, you got to go straight. And we're going to keep going back and forth like that until we reach the end of our loom. So this is what it will look like at the end of the loom. It should connect to the same side as your last set of straight bands. So we're going to go through and push them down a little bit, and then we're going to turn our loom around. We're going to grab one more of our border color, and we're going to place a cat band right on that center pin, and we can start the looping. So the first thing we're going to do is go into the cat band that we just laid, and we're going to loop these border bands back to themselves. So the first one will go out to the right, and the second one to the left. From there, we are now going to be looping up the last set of bands that we laid, which for me is that glow green. We're just going to loop it up in the same order that it was laid. So you're just going to follow it all the way around. So right here, it is the first band. Once you get in there, just loop it back to itself. Go into that pin, loop that back to itself. And we will continue going into the loop, grabbing the first band and looping it up. We're just going to follow this all the way around. Very easy. There is a train going by, and it's been going for so long. I've been sitting here waiting for it to stop, and it's just going and going and going. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to continue, and hopefully it's not too loud. So once you are completed with the glow green, it should look like that. Come back to the beginning. And now we're going to start working on the pink and the purple. So these bands are double banded, so you do want to take your time when looping these so you don't lose them, because there's not a whole lot holding them down. So we're going to start in this right corner here. Everything gets looped back to the pin that it's coming from. So in this one right here, when you go in to grab the pink, remember that we laid it as double band, so you're always grabbing 2, and you're just going to loop it forward and connect it. Once you loop it up, we now have to flip the bottom 2 bands of those hot pink bands, because there's technically 4 right here. You want to make sure you're grabbing the 2 bottom ones, so it's technically the 3rd and 4th band down, and you're just looping it up, over, and releasing like that. Once you have flipped those, you're going to go back into the pin, and now we're going to grab the purple 2 bands and loop them to themselves. And once again, we're going to flip the bottom purple band, which will be the 3rd and 4th band down. So it's these 2 right here. Loop it over and release. I did forget to mention, you may want to stick around at the end of the video, because usually the purple bands need to be fixed just a little bit. It doesn't take long at all, but so that your bracelet looks like mine, make sure you do stick around at the end. Alright, so let's continue. We're going to go ahead and loop the next set of hot pink. So I'm going to reach down in there, grab the next 2, loop them back to themselves. On this pin, we have a couple more bands than the other pins because we have that glow teal chain there. So we're technically flipping the 5th and 6th band down. But on this one, we have to do it from inside this green little chain. So you see this chain right here? Make sure your hook is going in the center of that. And you're grabbing the 5th and 6th band. So if you're looking from out here, I'll try to get you a good angle. If you're looking from out here, the top 2 is 1 and 2. The 2 teal is 3 and 4. 5 and 6 are the next 2. You're going to pull them up through that chain like that. I can see here that I did not accidentally grab these bands here. So just take your time there. I would say this is a very easy design, but that's the only part that you have to pay a little extra attention. So after you flip them up, we're going to continue on. So go back inside this pink right here. Grab your next hot pink, loop it up. We're going to flip the bottom set of those hot pink. Make sure you're grabbing 2 of them. If you have to count, it was the 3rd and 4th band that we're flipping. I'm going to loop my purple. Once again, I'm going to flip the bottom 2 of that same purple band, like so. We are back at this part where we have the glow green. So we're going to go inside that opening, make sure you're in the chain, and you're going to then grab the 2 bottom hot pinks and flip them up. And just to clarify, when I say bottom, I meant the bottom set of bands because, you know, we laid that hot pink as double bands. The top 2 are right here. The bottom 2 are the ones we flipped up. So that's why I said bottom. Hopefully that didn't confuse anyone. We're going to continue looping. So you're going to go inside that pink, grab your next 2 pink, and loop it up. Loop it up, and then flip your 3rd and 4th band. Looping my purple, and flip. So as you can see, we alternate looping and flipping all the way up. The only difference is when we get to the outer rows, because we have to go inside the green chain, and then but we flip the same way. I have a very tired brain today. So hopefully I'm not making this more complicated than it needs to be, because I did find it very easy to do this. So just keep alternating this until all of your bands are looped up. I will stay on camera though. The last set of bands that you should be looping are the pink that gets looped straight right there, and you will continue flipping as normal, like so. So that is the main looping that we had to do. Now all we have left to do is loop up the borders. So we're going to come back to the beginning. I'm going to do the right side first. We're going to come right here to this corner. We're just going to reach in, grab the very bottom band, loop it up. Repeat that. Go into the next set of bands, grab the very bottom, and loop it up. We're going to do that going all the way up, just looping up the bottom band, all the way up. Once you reach the very top, you're just going to bring that last one into the center. So you're going to go ahead and do that same exact thing on the left side, excuse me, grabbing the very bottom band, looping the borders all the way up. And then once we get to the top, I will show you what we're going to do if you need to do an extension. So I'll be a little bit ahead of you, but once you reach the top, we're just going to grab that loose band that we laid there earlier. I'm going to reach in and grab the other side of it, bring both ends together, and you can either C-clip this or temporarily C-clip it, or just slide it down on your hook if you need to make an extension like me. We're going to pop it off. I'm going to show you how to do a little fixing if needed in a minute. I'm going to first show you how to do an extension. So I'm sure many of you already know how to do an extension if you have the auto loom. So I'm just going to use the loom today. Usually I need about 15 extension bands. So you would just lay bands in a zigzag motion for a regular single chain. So I'm only going to do a couple. So I'm going to come around mid-loom. And I'm going to start laying a zigzag like this because I like to be able to connect my bracelet from the very end of the loom. It just makes it easier. So lay these in a zigzag for however many chains you might think you need. Like I said, I usually need about 15, but I'm just doing about 11 or 12 right now. I actually ran out of bands, so I have to use a hot pink one or two to finish it off. Like that. Alright, so once you have laid your zigzags, you're just going to turn it around, slide your bracelet down to the end of your hook, and make sure you attach both loops onto the peg like so. And now we're just going to loop this zigzag up. So you're going to go into the chain that you connected and loom. You're just going to zigzag all the way up. I'm sure everybody knows this part, but just in case, I wanted to add it in. So go ahead and keep doing this until all of your zigzags are looped out, and then we can take it off of the loom. So once you have it off of the loom, grab your C-clip and C-clip the end together. Then you can bring the other side around, find your cap band, and connect it. So after you get that C-clipped, mine came out pretty good with these bands, but a lot of the other ones I had to mess with these purple bands. They were like too stretched out. So if you don't like how stretched it is and there's like a big hole there, I like a little hole, but not, I don't want it too stretched. So all you're going to do is locate the two bands that are connected to the purple, and you just gently pull on them towards the center a little bit. And I do that for each one. You have to go in a different direction because it alternates. But you want to just gently pull those two bands towards the center. And then after I do that to each one, I do gently grab both sides and pull just a little bit. Like not too much because I don't want to go stretching it and making a big gaping hole. But once I do that, I kind of stretch it just a tiny bit to help it bounce into place. So like I said, this one already looked fine, but there's been times where it's just a big stretched out hole, and I just wanted to give you a little tip on how to fix it if that happens. So that is it though, you guys. That's how you make the super cute Huntrix bracelet created by Szophie. If you want to share with us your creation, you can certainly tag me, and you can also tag Szophie's mom, which is 7284 Christy. That way Szophie can see your renditions. I do thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you guys. Bye.